And 3, 2, 1. We're live.
Holy shit, we're here again.
We did it. Look at us with the
Did we?
consistency. Do you remember when we were not consistent? And like,
no, because
it
we've been
was-
consistent for so long, I forget. I just don't even remember those times.
That's good.
That is good.
Sign
It's
in.
very good. Can you tell we're exhausted today?
Yeah, we're fucking wrecked. I feel hungover, even though I'm not hungover. I did not consume any alcoholic beverages last night, but I was up way past my bedtime.
I did not have
Samesies.
relations with alcoholic beverages last night.
Lots of weed. Oh, Scott.
Scott!
This is a.
Ah.
Hey.
I was eating food. I woke
Oh,
up.
What do
all
you
good.
call Scott making funny noises? Flap, 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 scat.
Oh, my.
Sorry, that's bad.
It was pretty bad.
I
Oh,
actually
no.
like your parent jokes.
Right?
Thank you. Thank
You're
you.
welcome.
It's because I'm an auntie. I'm legally allowed to use parent jokes now.
Yeah, you kind
In
of.
fact, I'm legally required. I have like a one parent joke per day mandate that I have to get through. It's kind of been a breeze so far, but you know, the more nephews you get, the more jokes are mandated per day, and it's like 0.25 jokes per nephews or nieces per day, and I only got 4, so that's like one joke, right? But if I had 8, you know, I'd be in trouble. I'd be making 2
That's what they
anti-jokes a
call it.
day.
Queer auntie math. You know, you have girl math, boy math,
Holy-
and that's queer auntie math. Yeah.
Yeah. Queer
Also,
auntie math
no, I
is
don't.
figuring out how much money you can spend on your nephew's Lego for Christmas.
I know.
Yes.
I gotta
Well, of course,
unload
it's a
these
bajillion
Pokemon
dollars
cards.
because Lego is
to my-
expensive as fuck.
Fucking Lego is so expensive because, like, I now understand why my parents didn't buy me the Lego sets because I'm sure that they were even expensive then, right? And I know why Lego's expensive because it's a really good quality toy. Like, Legos will last the test of time.
Decades.
And, like, yeah, like, they'll last forever. But goddamn,
my
that shit
sister's
is
kids
expensive.
are playing with Lego that she and I played with as children, and she has that Lego set, and it still holds up, and her kids play with it. Okay, fucking her kids might even play with it. Okay, that's how long Lego goes. You have intergenerational Lego stashes. Okay, I'm just saying.
Yeah, and Lego, it really will stand the test of time. There's even there's a buy-sell Lego store in this kind of area, which is pretty cool. We actually went there looking for Lego shovels.
Lego shovels, the best drug accessory in the world. I brought my mother-in-law, and she's like, "You brought me along to buy drug accessories?" I'm like, "Yes."
It's you scoop it's a little scooper, you know, little Lego shovel.
And my nephews are like obsessed with Mario Lego. I don't know if y'all have seen that, but it has like computers in it and shit. And like,
really?
You make a custom. It's buck wild. You make a custom game board out of all the different pieces and sets that you get. Mario has a QR scanner underneath him, so he can not only like tell what he's landing on. If it's like a special power up, like a coin or something, he'll get it. If you land on like a red surface, it'll burn him. So if you put him on your hand, the red in your hand with the light reacting is enough to make him go,
wow,
like he's on fire.
That's
it's
funny.
Super cool. And you have to like be careful with like how much you jump with him, because he has like an accelerometer and stuff, and like it's a whole fucking thing. And you like have a set where you fight Bowser, and like you can have multiple players, and it like tracks to an app in your phone, so like it gives you objectives and shit. It's unreal.
What the fuck? Yeah, I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, seriously.
I'm really, really jealous of kids right now and the fucking toys that are out there. Like, I'm about to buy some of these damn things for myself. They're so cool.
You know what we got that they didn't though? Explosives. I mean, as a child, I actively played with fireworks and guns and fucking gasoline.
Yeah, I wasn't. I didn't have access to those things. It was harder to get in Philly. In the city.
Yeah,
fireworks.
I mean,
I'm like a small town kid. My hometown was like 3,000 people growing up. You can get up to some shit in that town if you get in the woods. Let me tell you.
There's also
and then
space.
If you go see your grandparents.
Oh yeah, and there's space to do it.
And your grandparents live in fucking Saskatchewan. Yeah, you know, and like there's that. Therefore, you get crazy stories of like you know, my brother being like, "Oh yeah, I have binary explosives." This is like way back in the day. I'm like, "What the fuck do you have binary explosives for?" And he's like,
We're blowing
"Blow
stuff
shit up."
up.
I'm like, "What do you blow up? What do you blow up?" And he's like, "I don't know, like
Stuff.
dumps, sheds, rocks." I'm like, "Oh
Okay.
my god."
The worst part is that this is just it's like, you know, though a different country, I guess like it's very a hick experience is a hick experience, you know.
Rural is
watching a comedy
rural,
routine.
you know.
I was watching a comedy routine by Bill Burr, if you know who he is. He's I think I got the right guy. And he's talking about how he's in Florida doing this job, and a guy comes out and he's like, "Hey, I got a revolver here. You want to go shoot this burnt out car?" And anybody who's like from a rural area is just like, like this is you take it at face value. You're not even shocked by it, right? And then he points his he's like, "See, all you fucks here from the South, you're just like, yeah, that's perfectly normal. That's reasonable. What happened next, right? And all of you who aren't from there, you're laughing at how fucking absurd that sounds." And I'm like,
true.
And you know what's hilarious is due to capitalism, right? Now people, you can pay money to like go shoot up a car, like an abandoned car or something like that. Like you can like pay money to like go wreck a car or something like that.
Isn't this the same thing that happens when rich people eat poor people food and call it cuisine?
Something like that, yeah.
Not to say poor people food isn't cuisine, but like rich people treat it like it is once they have acquired it, and it's like
I was looking into like I wanted to do like a rage room, right? And I always wanted to kind of open one for myself, but I don't know what the insurance policy would look like on a place like that. But I always wanted to have a place or go to a place where I could just smash everything in the fucking room. I just feel like that'd be very cathartic. And I looked at it. It got me on a path of looking things up on the internet, and it came up. It was like $600 for a group of like up to 12. You and 10 friends or 8 friends, something like that, can pay $600 to destroy a car.
I'm
like, fun times.
Sounds wild, man. Why don't you just go drive through the middle of nowhere and find an
do
old
it for
shitter
free?
and take your golf club to it? Like fuck.
Right.
They really got to gentrify everything out here, including fucking petty vandalism of rusted old cars. God, rusted old derelicts, let me be clear.
Right.
So anyways,
all the
cars
ways we
shooting
amuse
aside,
ourselves.
how the fuck's everybody doing?
Good. Like I said, we were up past our bedtime last night. We had a coven gathering. It was quite nice.
Yeah.
Like a runny nose.
Sounds
like
nice.
I have a hangover.
I have this headache I can't get rid of. I've tried caffeine, weed, water, whatever. But anyway, I finally succumbed to ibuprofen. Here we are. Work, magical ibuprofen. Actually, is there a trick for getting rid of a headache that you have? I'm curious. Or like a folk remedy, or what's everyone's headache tricks?
I mean, I'm sure that there's folk magic to get rid of headaches. Like there's folk remedies or like see, it's funny when you say folk remedies. Oftentimes you have to remember like herbalism and folk remedies and folk magic oftentimes are like the same thing.
Yeah.
So like for instance, when you have anxiety, there's a folk spell where you can impart it onto a tree, and we see this a lot in old magic where it's this act of transference, where it's like, aspen tree, shake. So essentially, you say shake instead of me, like because you have anxiety, so you shake and you're scared. So you give it to the aspen tree because aspen trees, like they're like the slightest breeze.
They tremble.
Well, yeah, they tremble. So you give your anxiety to the aspen tree.
But they're designed to do that, so it's kind of like that's what they're meant to do. So you're
right. So that's kind
I was like, is that why I hug trees? Because I have anxiety.
Yes.
Okay, you know what? Hugging trees is good for anxiety, actually.
It is. I was gonna say the same thing. It is deeply grounding.
I like hugging trees.
Oh my god, can
Me
that
too.
be our next springtime activity once it gets warmer? Let's just go out, find a nice grove of trees, give them a hug.
And hug them. Yes.
You know, I'll say this. I lived in a house before that had a tree in the backyard, and like it was a crabapple tree. And it was like centered in a nice place where like I could walk around it, I could talk to it, I could sit under it. I spent a lot of time sitting under that tree, and I placed paving stones in a circle around it so that I could walk around it on the paving stones while doing like intention, right? We planted clover all over the backyard. We revitalized it, like took out a lot of weed plants that were damaging and like shitty and like let it grow with more like natural shit. Even though we do often call natural shit weed plants, we like made an effort to not get rid of like Ontario natural plants, but like keep it in a type of yard that you're not going to get fucking written up by the housing board for. You know what I
Right.
mean? So
Mhm.
we did our absolute best at that place. And when I had to move eventually, I spent like 2 or 3 years living in that house. It was the longest I've lived in a place in my adult life. And I cried when I was leaving, not because I was leaving the house, but because I had to say goodbye to this tree that I had been spending every day with for years. And I like hugged it and I could like feel it embracing me and saying goodbye. And like, I still wish I could just go sneak into that backyard to go give that tree a hug and then fuck off at night before like
Or somehow
anybody even sees me.
magically find a way to like take it with you, you know? Like if I could
There's
just
not a
like
lot of
put
light back
you
there. I could easily do it if I did it at the right time of day, but I don't want to be fucking busting into somebody's
Right.
yard to go hug a tree. That's insane.
Yeah. There's boundaries, I guess, you know, whatever.
Yes.
That's like a cat being like, "What do you mean? Why can't I follow you into the bathroom when you take a shit? Why are you locking me out? I don't understand this."
Literally, my cats, they will throw themselves on the floor outside the bathroom door and just wail.
Because they're
Until
worried
you open
about
the
us.
door.
Okay, so my
I don't
theory is
even
that
like
cats
try
actually
to
have
keep
been
them down
following
anymore.
us.
Yeah, I don't even
My
try.
theory is that cats have been following us to the washroom for ages because like there's this weird ancestral contract between us where like they take care of like bugs and mice and shit, and like we feed them and take care of them from really big things that they don't have any defense against, right? Like we have a really symbiotic relationship with cats, and I actually think that there's like an ingrained anxiety about us going to use the washroom by ourselves because it's when we're extremely vulnerable. And if
Yeah.
you're protecting a cat and you die to a snake or a spider bite, that cat is without defense and is worse off without you, you know? So I think it's like exclusively mutually beneficial that they like learn to protect us while we were using the washroom, you know?
I think you're spot on because I always kind of like said the same thing. I was like, I get it, you know, to us, we're like, that's ridiculous that you think I'm going to like die in the bathroom, right? You know, I'm
Mhm.
just going to the bathroom. But to them, they're like, oh shit, like this is for real, you know, like you are
Mhm.
vulnerable.
This is for reals, not for play place.
I have to protect you.
Yeah. So yeah, cats are super cool like that. I wish people gave them more credit. You know, I think we focus a lot on man's best friend being dogs, but you know,
Look, I feel like people like dogs a lot because dogs are subservient to people, and a lot of people don't have authority over anyone or anything. And it's a way for people to feel a modicum of control in a really fucked up way. Sorry, not sorry, I said it.
I
Not
agree
all
because
dog owners are like that.
there are some dog owners that are that like I am
Yeah.
the human and you are the dog. It's like shut
Yeah.
up.
And like not all dog owners are like that, but you see it with a lot of them where like they don't treat their dog like it has any individual rights and like it just fucking belongs to them. And like if
Yeah,
it
like it's
reacts like
just a
an
dog.
animal would, they'll
Yeah.
have it put down. Like it's super fucking toxic how people treat
Mhm.
dogs. And like I don't prefer dogs over cats. I love them both. They're both like perfect,
Same.
precious angels forever and always, right? I just don't like the attitude of dog owners in general. I
Mm.
find if you get a cat owner who has a dog, they're actually going to be better to the dog than the dog owner is because they're not trying to fucking dominate the thing. They're letting the dog be a dog and understand that it has like complex needs because you know you can't fucking control a cat. The more you try, the more it'll slip through your fingers. Like it's the Star
Exactly.
Wars quote,
It's
right?
about mutual respect with cats. You have to form a
Yeah.
relationship, a working
And
relationship.
I think I see a lot of lack of that in dog owners, which makes me sad because dogs deserve just as much respect and care as cats do.
I agree.
We were talking earlier. We were talking earlier about like Lego and everything. And look, I found my little Lego shovel.
Oh
Look at
yeah,
that.
see?
Look,
There it
it's right
is.
here. I just used it to scoop some
Speak
weed
and
in my
she
bowl.
speak and she will appear.
It's really nice because then he doesn't get stuck on your on your
Yeah, on your
fingers or
finger. You don't
anything.
get it stuck under your fingernails.
Yeah, I got a little weed scooper. What were you gonna say, Scott?
Nothing.
Aw.
How are you, Scott?
I was hoping for you to say something.
I'm so sorry. I will admit I unfortunately went to bed. I don't know why I stayed up this late, but Darian wasn't tired and like he didn't drink caffeine, so I was a little worried because I
Mm,
couldn't figure out what was keeping him awake. And
mm,
I have to be
Okay,
like
I gotta tell y'all
constantly
a
like
spooky story
aware
after
of
this.
like his I have to be like aware of like his any changes because he's going through dialysis
yeah,
and
his
he's been
tells.
getting migraines lately
Yeah.
and like I'm nervous to go to sleep because he's not sleeping.
Yeah.
So I ended up and I mean he's fine. Like I'm not
You're
trying
on
to make
like
a big
high
deal out of
alert.
it, but right, but I kind
Yeah.
of have to be paying attention to inconsistencies, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why he like pushed it and like by the time it was like 5 o'clock in the morning, I'm like, you all right? He's like, no, I'm not tired, I'm not tired. And I was like, okay. So I was like, I'll give you a little bit longer. And then eventually it was like
And then I'm
almost
gonna
6
make you
a.m. and I
drink
was
the
like, it's time
Benadryl.
to sleep. And the thing is, like, I don't know why he doesn't want to take his sleeping meds. He has
Mm,
sleeping meds. I don't know if he forgot or just doesn't feel like taking them.
mm,
But the thing is, like, I told him, I said, the doctor told you that your sleeping meds are just as needed. You
mm,
know, you take them when you need them. I said, you're normally pretty good. But so to get to the point, the reason I'm a little bit, you know,
Mm-hmm.
quiet is because I'm exhausted.
mm.
Going to bed at 6 a.m. in your 30s is just, you know,
Yeah.
it's
6.
not it.
I'm
So
surprised
that
you're
kind of
awake.
creeps me out. Jay, you said you were up late last night too, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that's
Why?
fine.
Well, we had the coven over and we were doing a working
Uh-huh.
which took a lot of time, but it was good. It was like a good, it was one of
Took
those like
2
I can't believe
hours.
it took that long, a time that is no time. And
Can't
then
believe
after
it's not
that
better.
we ate food and we watched, and I use this with extreme air quotes, watched Rosemary's Baby. It was more like there were 3 different occult based conversations happening while Rosemary's Baby was playing, and Rue was apparently watching Rosemary's Baby with like rapt attention.
I was just sitting there getting high watching Rosemary's Baby because I had
Oh.
never seen it from beginning to end.
We were talking about the patriarchy, fucking racism, fucking. It was just like,
Mhm.
witches, So that's why we were up late
So,
last night.
Something weird happened to me last night.
Mm.
I don't stay up late normally, right? I'm
Yeah,
like
neither do we. We're on
in
a
bed
schedule.
by midnight kind of girl, right?
Mm,
Like
yeah.
last night, I just could not fucking sleep.
Hmm.
Okay. Oh, this creeps me out. So I'm still up just like playing Helldivers too. Shout out to anybody playing it. And I was like, yeah, let's see if I can solo extreme mode. And I was having success with it. So I stayed on my run because I didn't want to like throw it off by sleeping and waking up and having to get back on the muscle memory. Like I just wanted to finish it and go to bed, right?
So you just stayed up.
So like yeah, and it's like a 3 mission structure, so you have to do a few of them, right? I do the first mission, and it's like 1:11 in the morning, and I succeed. I'm like, oh great, this is awesome. Let's go have a bong toke. I go outside, and there's this guy out there,
Mm.
and he's like standing on the corner
At what time?
of this street. At this time it's about 1:45, pushing 2:00, right?
So we're approaching the witching hour.
It's a quiet resident.
Yeah.
It's a quiet residential area. People do
Yeah.
not just like loiter out there, right?
Yeah.
And he's not moving. I can't see his face. Everything he's wearing, aside from his pants, are black. And he's just staring at a telephone pole like he's peeing on it, but he's not moving. So I'm like, okay, that's weird. If he turns around or does anything or comes towards me, I'm going to run inside immediately and be ready for this, right?
Right. You're like, I ain't fucking around.
You know that feeling you get in your chest where it's like, you're in danger.
Yeah.
Get the fuck out of here right now.
Mm-hmm.
It was so weird. Like, you know when people like stand there, they move, right?
Yeah.
They have like sway. He was supernaturally still. Like it was fucking creepy. It set off.
Inhuman.
I have a question.
Yes.
Was
Yes.
it a street corner where there were like 4 roads meeting?
No, it was a freeway.
Oh,
It was a
okay.
witch's foot.
Okay.
It's
And
still
he was
crossroads.
pretty much all in black.
Yeah.
And you said you felt incredibly terrified?
Yes. And he
Like
didn't
you felt
move
your
his
fight or flight kicked in and you couldn't explain it?
to the point where I came inside, I locked every door, I wedged. I'm serious. I put a wedge under the back door because we don't have a very good setup in our house for like if like say my downstairs neighbor left the back door unlocked, you could
Mm.
just basically come upstairs. So I'll wedge that door
Yeah.
so nobody can open it when I'm feeling scared, right? Immediately went to wedge it. So I'm
Mhm.
like, it's okay. Just go play your game. I do another round. It's like 45 minutes. I come back and poke my eye out. Just like I turned off the lights. I was being quiet. He didn't move. He was in the same spot.
Really?
And like my heart just started like fucking kicking like a rabbit. And it's like, you're in danger. So like I literally like barricaded myself in my room for a little bit. And like he had been standing in one place in the freezing cold for about an hour and 20 minutes without moving. Right? That's fucked up. That's fucked up.
Yeah.
I know exactly. I mean, it's a great blessing to have witnessed this and to him
What?
wanting to
Please
interact
tell
with
me.
you.
Sorry, that
I'm
exchange
sure
was
that
everything. I'm so glad we have that captured. That was
what
a
happened?
blessing. It was just funny. You were like, "That was a blessing," and then Sophia's like,
It's kind of a
"What?"
blessing. I mean, it is like it's like really fucking cool that the Man in Black appeared to you like that.
What
That's
Man
not
in Black? Are you
normally.
talking? Okay. Oh, you're not actually talking about the Men in Black, are you?
No, the Man in Black. The man at the crossroads. The you know the first initiator. The witch's
The deal
devil.
maker, right?
Yeah, I was scared as shit, and everything in my gut was
Uh,
like, "That's not a human. That's not a human. You go the
every
fuck inside right now."
every iteration of the witch's devil, the idea of like I actually was having this conversation with a pagan witch, and they really didn't understand the witch's devil. They didn't not believe in it, but they certainly didn't
Get it.
understand it from a folkloric standpoint. And I had to explain to them uh that I said part of the experience with the witch's devil is the fear.
Yeah.
And it was funny because they were like, "Oh, I'm not afraid of spirits." I said, "No, you don't understand." I said that if you call forth the devil, or if you're in an instance where you meet the witch's devil, um, there will be fear. And I said the reason
Mm-hmm.
for that is because you can't fathom this archetypal being. It is so far, it is the land itself, it's the starkness and the deepness of the land. And it is the great expanse and the great unknown. You know what I mean? Like
Mm-hmm.
it is fearful. Like
Mm-hmm.
you have no choice but to be afraid. And part of the reason why I think for trad witches and folk witches, particularly, is because that fear, if controlled, can induce a deep meditation.
Mm.
The body, it's actually very similar to the experience. I forget what it's called, but in kink and bondage, there's a moment sometimes in a scene where somebody has an almost out of body like experience where the mind
Mm-hmm.
sort of puts them in an altered state of consciousness. And fear has the ability to do that too, especially when you force yourself to stay. I have the one time where I almost succeeded, but I didn't, was that one time where I told you about the profane scrying,
Mm-hmm.
and I ran away after seeing myself move in the mirror.
Mm-hmm.
If you guys remember that story.
I do.
I think I do.
You can recount
Um,
it though, like
yeah,
briefly for anyone who may not have remembered or is
yeah,
just
yeah,
tuning
yeah.
in now.
So I was
We're on episode
working.
131. I'm sure there's people who haven't heard it.
Yeah.
I was doing a working from Robin Artison's book, The Clovenstone Workings, And again, it's a book all about working with the witch's devil.
Mm.
But part of the initiation rite is something he calls profane scrying, which profane scrying to him, as he defines it, is the act of scrying without any ritual implements or actions. There is no incantations, there's no incense burning, no candles, no nada. You, a mirror, and your bedhead after waking up, whatever,
Mm.
in your dirty pajamas, whatever it is, that's profane scrying. And this act, interestingly, actually, I don't know why I said it like that because I wasn't intending to do it. The book was coming out,
Mm.
and I didn't know. That's right, I didn't know about profane scrying. I read about it after the fact, and I
Mm.
remember I was freaked out about it. But as he described it in the book, is how it happened to me. That's
So
what
it's like
occurred.
you're looking in the mirror, and then
And
your
suddenly,
reflection moves.
so he says that the through this you're going to meet. He didn't necessarily call it like a dark other. It was the initiator,
Mm.
and I think it's a form of the devil, because the devil. It's interesting when you read about the devil. The devil has this relationship with people, that at times feels like he's inside of us and
Mm.
outside of us at the same time. There's almost like the devil is inside of you,
Mm.
in some regards, and um I wonder if this other you that you see in the mirror, this sort of almost, it is like this shadowy initiator, as you're entering this deep meditation and having this inducing this very visionary experience, not like in your mind.
Mm.
It's a deep visionary experience where you're engaging with something because your mind is in that place, and all of a sudden it's very physical. It was very supernatural or paranormal, whatever you want to say.
Mm.
um I was, the mirror goes dark as described in the text, and I thought it was very strange, but my occult curiosity, like, I leaned into the mirror. I was like, what the fuck? Why is the mirror going black? But I can, and it was funny because my breath was gentle, my
Mm.
heartbeat wasn't racing. I felt fine. I actually felt so calm. I couldn't even feel my feet on the floor. It wasn't like
Mm.
disassociation though. It was completely different. Disassociation doesn't feel calm.
Mm-hmm.
And also too, it feels very heady,
Mm-hmm.
whereas this felt full body. If
Okay.
that makes
Yeah.
any sense. Disassociation is in the noggin, whereas this was full body.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember it goes dark, and I'm watching, and all of a sudden it starts coming back with this black and purple hue, kind of like fading like outward. I don't know how to
Mm.
put it. And all of a sudden, I'm back into focus, and there's me with my eyes look like shadowy sockets,
Oh.
and my mouth is like black.
Oh, like a heartless kind of.
Yeah.
Mm.
And I remember I'm staring at myself and it's staring at me. And then all of a sudden it kind of like it kind of does that thing that I do when I feel contentment. I have this, like, when I see people doing good for other people,
Mm.
I always smile at it unintentionally, like, 'cause it just makes me
Ah.
feel good.
Yeah.
And it kind of turned its head slightly, not in a creepy, like, ghosty way, just in like a hi kind of smile kind of way. But because the eyes are sunken in and black and the mouth is black, it looked weird,
Yeah.
And I'm looking at it and it moves without me moving.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of like, and
Uh.
I'm staying as long as I can, because it didn't catch on that my visage in the mirror was now moving independently. And I realize I'm having, like, I mean, I'm fully aware that I'm having this visionary experience, and I'm fully aware that this is something otherworldly.
Mm.
It certainly wasn't psychosis of any kind.
Mm.
And I'm looking at it, and eventually I run. At some point, I run out of the room because I was like,
It gets too
"Fuck this
much.
shit, I'm out."
Too
Like,
much.
this is too much. It was just too overwhelming. I don't think I was the worst part is that I haven't been able to recreate it.
Mm.
Um, as much as I want to, only because it's the threshold of something and I really want to know what's behind the door.
How do you think you could like if you were to attempt to recreate it? Like, what sort of conditions do you think would need to be?
That's the weird thing. Like the problem with this is, um, the conditions were met completely accidentally, right? I remember I was practicing looking at myself in the mirror so that way I can learn to love my body as it is. And I was like, you're going to look at your body and you're going to say nice things about yourself. And I remember every time the anxiety would creep up, the shame would creep up of body dysmorphia, I would sort of love it back down. You know what I mean? I would say, I accept you're here, but right now, this is time. It's not time for that. And I would love that feeling to sleep, and then I would keep doing that. You know what I mean? I wasn't forcing anything. There was no pushing, of anything. It was just a gentle acknowledgement and put it back to sleep. And that's what I was doing at the time. So I don't know. Maybe I got to do that again. Maybe I have to sort of spend time in the mirror. I don't look. It's funny because when you're shamed for a long period of time, look for anything really. But I feel like shame often forces us into that sense of like self-worth issues, and that includes body dysmorphic stuff. And I think that I it's now just habit. I feel like I'm in a much better place. So like I feel like I can look in the mirror.
I don't look in the mirror that often. I still
I don't.
It's not that like I don't particularly hate my face. Like I'm not really like I'm like, my face is alright. Yeah, I'm losing my hair, I knew that was gonna happen. I'm like okay about that. I think it's just like I think it's for me it's more of like probably like dysphoria, I guess. Like when I see my full body, I'm just like I don't really like
full body dysphoria.
Yeah, like it's just like yeah.
All the trans people raise their hands in the air like you just don't care.
But I don't spend a lot of time looking at my face though. I don't know. I just don't really look in mirrors that often.
So, no, it's funny. It's funny that you mentioned that because, like, you've heard my mom say, I look at myself in the mirror a lot while I'm speaking, and she thinks it's because I'm like, I have a lot of vanity or like I'm obsessed with myself. But I actually really don't like looking at myself in the mirror. The only reason I do it while I'm speaking is to make sure I don't look like I'm like a fool. Like I use it to. It's easier for me to look at myself outside of myself than it is to like. I don't know. I've always done it since I was like a wee little lad. So that was just my tidbit. So yeah, body dysmorphia and looking in mirrors. Yeah, it's a theme.
Yeah. Yeah, not so much my face. It's just my body. I'm like,
Right. And I'm just so it's just habit now to not spend much time in a mirror. So this particular day I was just, on a whim, I did something different, and suddenly I fell into this.
Sorry.
No, good.
I think it's also, if you spend a lot of time looking in a mirror, we've also been conditioned to be like, that's very vain, right? Like,
yeah,
there's this weird conundrum that happens, right? It's like, we get simultaneously fed, you are beautiful, everyone is beautiful, love yourself. And then we are also simultaneously fed, but if you don't look like this, you're not like that beautiful, So it's like this weird disconnect that we get fed. And so like when we try to look in the mirror more and embrace ourselves and be like, yeah, you know what? I'm fucking hot. Look at me, It's that shame, like you were saying, it creeps in. It's like, well, who are you to be so vain? If it's not even like, oh no, you're actually ugly, or if it's like, how dare you think you're pretty? It's like this weird shame kind of thing, like you were saying. So yeah, I totally get it.
Exactly that. Like, so yeah, I could get into that's it's almost like a whole other conversation. But yeah, it was.
How do I lose my lighter sitting right here? I'm sorry. Every other stoner, raise your hand in the air. Just lost your lighter, just sitting here.
But to get back to Sophia, and what I believe you might have experienced, three-way crossroads, four-way crossroads, and even in the city, I know a lot of people are like, you have to travel outside of the city to get to where the devil is, and I'm like, that's bullshit.
Devil's at every street corner.
And the thing is, it's like as somebody who's walked this city at like 2:30, 3 o'clock in the morning, I have felt that weird thing at street corners. Like similarly underneath the yellow lights of Philly, like I felt it. I know that it's there.
It's gritty materializing.
Right, it's just different.
Say, why are they yellow though?
Saint Gritty.
Saint Gritty.
And yeah, I think that's what you experienced. I think you had an interaction with the witch, the devil that is in your area.
I wouldn't disagree, honestly. What were you gonna say, Jerry?
I was saying, I'm curious why that happened. I'm curious if you have like any inclination as to maybe why this has popped up in your life. Like, did you ask for a visit?
No.
Okay.
Like, I don't know. How do I even say stuff with actually saying stuff? You know that I really don't like to talk about my personal magic on the podcast that much. I work with some pretty big things, but like on the scale of energy, as opposed to like the devil, it's kind of like the polar opposite. So I don't think I called it by any measure. Fuck, I'm gonna be honest. My first instinct was that it was the W word. You know what I mean?
Oh.
Not to say it was, but
do they normally
that's the only thing I could think. I don't fucking
humanoid?
know. I've never seen one in person. How would I know?
I didn't know if there were any accounts of, what they looked like.
Yeah, I mean, I would just be telling other people's stories at that point, so I don't know.
I mean, but
at the same time,
there's really nothing wrong in sharing the stories of other people, because that's kind of like, it's just word of mouth, you know what I mean? And that's how...
I don't know what they look like, because they're always described to be like similar to humans, but like really gaunt and like essentially like empty, like hollow. You know what I mean?
That also sounds like that description as well.
I also didn't see the guy's face. Like, he was standing away from me, staring like face towards a fucking telephone pole for like an hour and 20 minutes. You know what I mean? So like, I could tell that in my mind, other people would see this and be like, "Excuse me, sir, do you need help?" But in my mind, after having seen some other shit, I'm like, "No, the fuck, nope. I am going inside. I am pretending I didn't see anything. I am not looking back out my windows and staring to put my eyes on the back of this thing's head in case it fucking turns around." Like, the worst part was, like, after I barricaded myself in my room and I came back after like another hour, it was just like gone. And it was like, where did you go?
Did you almost miss it though when it was gone?
No, and actually it was weird. There was a point, because like I couldn't sleep, so I was just playing more game. There was a point where it's just like a calm washed over me, and I was like, it's not here for me. And if it was, it would have got me.
Oh, yeah, maybe. And that's the other thing too.
It's
probably here for someone else.
But here's the thing though. As soon as the calm washed over me and I went back to look, that's when it was gone.
So
and
maybe
like,
it was
as I was
you
dealing
deciding
with all of this,
that it wasn't for you.
I don't know. Maybe I passed the test. Maybe it was trying to do something. I really don't know. All I know is I saw something that freaked the fuck out of me last night. And like, while I was dealing with this and laying in bed, I had a date today, but there's a girl I know who's gonna come over. But then like, she messaged me at like 3:30 in the morning saying, "Hey, I'm sorry. I stayed up too late tonight and fucked my sleep schedule. Can we reschedule?" And I was like, I was like, she stayed up late too. Like this is fucking weird, right? And like I talked to my
That's
partner, they
interesting.
stayed up late, and y'all stayed up late, and Scott stayed up late, and that's the whole reason I mentioned the goddamn thing is because like everybody I've talked to today was like, oh, I don't know why, but I was just up super late last night, and I'm like, well, yeah, maybe you saw like something supernatural last night. So
I will
although
say,
it's not like you fucking did anything. Sorry, go
I
ahead,
will.
Scott.
No, I will say that last night was a little strange for me. Not like that. It's a little different. So I've talked about my friend Kimberly on this podcast many times,
I
and
would love to have her on, by the way. So if you wanna,
that would be fun,
because I know
actually.
she does all kinds of cool shit that I think would
Well,
be.
so here's I don't think she'd mind me telling this story. She Kimberly goes through at times, or has anyway. This is kind of almost her first time, but her first time was long, where she kind of had to put it down for a little while.
Mm.
And then it's funny because just last night, and this is where I said it's interesting. Just last night, she posted these reels on her Instagram about how she's reclaiming her spirituality. And it was funny because she starts talking about how she's been having these dreams. And Kimberly is very, very big on the witch's pyramid, to know, to will, to dare, and to keep silent.
Mm-hmm.
And especially the keep silent part.
Mm.
Now, it's funny because Kimberly and I have worked Magick together multiple times throughout our young adult life and teenagehood and everything. And now, though we were young and dark and spoopy, and getting into weird shit that we probably shouldn't have been doing, but nevertheless, it does create a particular kind of bond. And it was funny because as soon as she was talking about the dreams, I knew what she was saying. I knew the code. I knew exactly what she was talking about. And to make it even weirder, me and her like started talking last night, and I hadn't talked to her in a little while because she's very, very busy. And she lives in DC in an apartment, so she's working all the time to pay them
Afford it.
bills. But
Yeah.
we were out of nowhere. We started talking, and it's funny because I had to tell her I had an experience a week ago, where I thought I was disassociating, but I was sitting at my table and I was at my laptop, but I was just like looking out my window, listening to the birds, actually really similar to what you hear out if you can hear them. And I was just like relaxing, just looking out the kitchen window, and all of a sudden, my mind is thrown over this landscape, and it looks like, I don't know if it was like the Mesa Plains, but it was like somewhere with like very dry clay soil. It cracks in like squares.
Mm-hmm.
And all of a sudden, there's this like lonesome rock sitting in the middle of this deserty, dry expanse that kind of has some like puddles, like as if it rained. You know what I'm saying? And then, but on this rock is Lilith's seal. And it was weird because the rock began to shake. And I remember like,
Oh man.
it just began to shake and it began to crack, and then the seal began to glow. And it was funny because this daydream, quote unquote, ended with the sort of the rock exploding and this bright, beautiful, golden, almost orange light. And then I kind of came out of it again. It was like dreaming on my feet. And at first I was like, was that me disassociating? Because disassociative daydreams can be a little intense. But then
Yeah,
I
but
was like,
that's
no, because I didn't feel,
planted.
huh? Right, right.
Yeah.
Because it had nothing to do with anything. I think I was looking at like D&D stuff or something.
Right.
And not even that. I don't even know what the hell I was looking at. And
Can you do me a favor and look up Death Valley really quick and tell me if that's what you saw? Because like,
yeah,
it's immediately what comes to mind is it's like a cracky crag, and it's known for rocks that move of their own volition throughout the valley. They try to explain it with like geological reasons and stuff, but a lot of people believe
yeah,
that they're moved supernaturally. Death
yeah. I
Valley,
know what you're
everybody's
talking
heard of
about.
it.
Oh my gosh, I don't know if I mentioned this on the podcast, but we're talking about Death Valley, so I just thought of this. I worked on a deal at work. There is a place in the state of Maryland, there's a road in the state of Maryland called Suicide Bridge Road.
Yep.
I was like,
I think I've heard of that.
Are you fucking serious? It's real. Pass my desk, but yeah. We have some really
Yeah.
fucked up names of things here in America. We got Death Valley.
Devil's Gulch.
Right.
All those places are when things are named after the devil and things like that. They're liminal spaces.
Oh,
But is
so
that
funny.
the space that you saw?
I'm looking now. It kind of looked. See that? You know what's weird is that I'm horrible at geography. So like, it wasn't exactly like this. Like, because here it's very hexagonal. Like the soil ends up almost like in odd like rounds. This was like that the clay soil that comes up and it almost looks like it you could pull it away in like squares. I've seen it before. It's like they tend to be very clay, deep red soil. I guess I don't know if that would be in the opposite direction.
I don't know.
I'm not sure. But essentially, it was funny because I couldn't imagine because I don't work. I had one stint working with. I had a somewhat working relationship, I guess, with Lilith many moons ago when I was a young queer and I was being a hoe. And Lilith is great for many things, but including sex magic and seduction magic. And because I was very queer and I always found more potency in femininity, I went that route and it worked very well. But it was like it was funny because gods and spirits have a way of kind of being like, well, I've taught you everything. I came here to teach you something. Sometimes they're only there to teach you like one lesson, and then they leave. And it was very much that. And I don't really have much of a lifelong relationship with Lilith. And
like
I was just gonna say, I was like, or she takes the role of a Jewish grandmother and she never fucking leaves you alone. once you intone her in your first ritual, she's like, oh, hi there, I'm never going to leave you alone again. I love you. And I'm like, okay.
And
that's a lot.
that's I love that. But it was funny because I was like, that's so weird. I haven't thought about Lilith. The only thing that made me think that maybe like because I always try to like debunk my own shit. Just because I like to be rational, especially with my brain. But I had just gotten there's a book by hold on everybody. Sarah L. Mastros, I think her name is Mastros. The Sorcery of Solomon. Oh my god, why? The Sorcery of Solomon. It's a guide to working with the Pentacles of Solomon. Sorry, I'm looking at my Kindle. And I thought maybe that's
Jay
what
really wants a Kindle Scribe.
Yeah, I really do. Anyway,
and I thought maybe that's what was leading me to this vision. But it's interesting that literally like a week later, me and Kimberly are having this out of nowhere intense conversation about all these intense dreams about Lilith she's having.
And like Lilith is like her, like Kimberly's like whole thing. Like that's like her whole.
Yeah. The two people she works with, the two gods that she works with primarily are Lilith and Hecate. She has Hecate's wheel on her right left arm and Lilith on her right, I think.
Yeah, when we having her on?
Yeah.
I'll be here for that one.
Yeah. I would really like to have Kim on. Oh, Chris is in the chat, and so is Lexa, and there was Dawn. We have had some chatters here. Oh, Chris, you didn't reboot the YouTube app. Well, I'm glad you made it for at least like the second half, I guess. I think you popped in around, I saw you a couple minutes ago. I'm glad you made it.
Hello.
We've actually been live as of 49 minutes ago.
But it is interesting to see that last night people were all doing weird. There is like a spiritual thing to it, I guess. There is like a pattern here.
The
Everyone
first thing
was
I was going
doing
to ask in
something.
response is like, is there any astrological data? Like, was it an eclipse or something?
Oh,
I don't think so.
I really.
I would have heard about it if
Need
it
to
was an
know.
eclipse, but like, I feel like something was going on.
I don't know. Let's see what my moon app says. I have a moon app right here. What was
Me
the
too.
moon
That's what I
doing?
did. I went on my moon app.
My moon app. I'm not.
Oh, yeah,
I'm just
yeah,
not
I
the
got
same
it.
without my moon app.
Which shit?
Which
Which
What was
is
it,
right
like
above my
fucking-
compass app.
What was
yeah.
it, like a new moon last night or something?
No,
No,
it's
it was
70%
It was a waxing
waxing.
gibbous.
waxing.
It was in
Gemini.
Gemini.
Interesting.
Do we have the same app?
Yes. Duh.
It better not
Clip
be
that too.
It better not be co-star.
No. I did fuck around with CoStar. I wanted to see what all the hubbub was about. It's
Co-star lies
interesting.
about astrological transits and gaslights people with incorrect information. You can find it by
Yeah.
Googling it.
I think it's all AI generated stuff.
The owner of the company said that she deliberately made the transits that way to try and build people up so they could do better in their lives. She gave like a bullshit excuse, but like, yeah, when you're having a day where like transits are in your favor, they gaslight you and tell you that you're having a shitty day and how things are going to be bad. And when things are going to be bad, they tell you things are going to be great and act like transits are better than they are. Do not use CoStar. It is fucking vile.
There's a lot of like astrology people that pop up like on threads and stuff. Then I end up, I read what they say. They're all like, Mars is doing this thing and that thing, and I will say like cosmology or all of that, all the space stuff. I've always loved space, but I've never gotten into like astrology and like understanding how they're all moving and what they're doing, and it's just such a big it almost seems overwhelming to me, but
Space is big.
it's infinite, and then you're just focusing on just the solar system itself, and it's like, well, it's in this conjunct with this and the transit and I'm like, this is like a lot, and then people are like, let me draw you a diagram, and I'm like, I'm even more confused. But I think that just shows like that's not my wheelhouse, right? I mean, you can't be good at everything,
No, nor I mean, I feel like astrology in and of itself, like astrologers, like if you like back in the time of like the Renaissance, astrologers themselves were also occultists practicing a particular style of magic. Renaissance astrological magic and astrology, also astronomy, were a particular tradition. You know what I'm saying? There was a way in which they did things. It was in and of itself a system of magic and divination and yeah. So I
it's
think
like
that
its
in
own
some ways, like,
self-contained thing.
right. So I think that like given the it's in all honesty, in my just opinion, it's one of the most well documented traditions of magic. Given, again, I know I say this all the time because I think it's just staggering, for a collective 400,000 years
Right.
of human wisdom and thought into it,
Like, how can you
it's a
not look
lot
at
of
the night sky and be like, fucking magic? Like fucking
right.
gods. Like, that's where they are.
Especially then, right?
Yeah,
Like
when you could
the
actually fucking
sky
see it.
looked different. The moon quite literally looked like a silver disc in the sky back then
There's so much
because
light
it
pollution now.
wasn't buffeted by meteors.
Mm.
Whereas now, of course, we have like all sorts of like weird shapes that we perceive because the meteors hitting the moon.
Mm.
But yeah. So I think I get it. Like it's just there's a lot to astrology, especially to the caliber in which I feel like we study magic. I feel as if like we would want the best of the best information. We would want, to make sure that what we're getting isn't just like compatibility, relationship, pop astrology, like
Right.
it's fun. That stuff is fun to talk about when you're being sort of just like maybe ironically or just having fun with friends, like shooting the shit. But like when you're being real, like when you're really in it and you really want to do a chart, you know, you can't have that stuff because that pop stuff doesn't work. You know, it's just like pop psychology. It's like, you know, or bro science, you know, about like fitness and things. Like none of those things are effectual.
I get slammed with those ads and stuff like that, you know, like get buff, just do this push up for 1,000 minutes a day or something like that.
One Punch Man.
But right, yeah. So like I don't know, I get why there are many people who agree with us that like astrology just isn't. I'm not going to do it. I don't think I ever want to.
It's like
it's just a lot to take on.
I want to know the basics. You know what I mean? I want a good foundation.
Sure.
I talked about my friend Lexa before. She's amazing. That's like her total wheelhouse. And I really like going to her, like, you know, because like if like what I'm reading, there's a lot of material to read out there, but sometimes you just want to ask someone who knows what the fuck they're talking about, you know. So I really like to go to her a lot. And if you're still here listening, Lexa, love you, heart.
Hi, Lexa.
Love you. I really want to have Lex on the show if that's your thing. To really talk about astrology, because like
that would be great.
That's kind of like she's kind of my go-to astrologer, you know. Mostly because like it's just an area of magic I don't have a lot of experience in. It's an area of magic that confuses the fuck out of me. I really like space. I think the planets are cool, like, but I approach it from a point of they are just floating space rocks, right? And astrology kind of like there's like that animism of the planets, you know what I mean? Like, you know, like they are sentient space rocks. You know what I mean? You have to kind of like think of it in that way. And so that's where I'm trying to like, you know, reframe the way. Fortunately, the Gray School, not to plug them, but I'm going to plug them. They do offer cosmology courses. There's a whole cosmology department. So if you want to study the stars, I'm excited to break into that stuff because I think it'll provide some good foundation for me. Oh, Tink is here in the chat. Hey, Tink.
Hello.
Sorry you found us at the end of, or toward the end of today's stream, but we are glad that you made it. What is Rue losing their shit over? I see in the camera.
Lexa, the misspelling of Scooby Gang, guys. This is Scooby Gang.
I like it though. We're like the knockoff Scooby Gang. We're the Scooby Gang. Discount.
So wait,
actually
no, we don't have direct analogs. We are our own Scooby Gang.
Oh, Chris, your sibling is really into astrology. Yeah, it's not like I'm gonna give up on it entirely. But it's kind of like we talked about this before, right? When it comes to magic, like I think it's good to have like a basic understanding of the main areas of all of it. You know, herbalism, the stars, alchemy, you know, get a little bit of it all and then like, you know, form your own magic from that. But I do think it's at least nice to have like the basic understanding, you know, of those kind of main categories of it. Do you have to master every single no, you don't, because honestly for me, I think when it comes to astrology, especially when you start busting out the charts, like I look at my own birth chart and my brain like melts into like a puddle. I'm like, I don't
just starts leaking out your ears.
Yeah, I'm like
every orifice.
And like astrologers look at it and they're like, oh my god, you know, like, and you're this and you're that.
It's that meme where everything connects and all the numbers.
They read it in 2 seconds. They look at it and it's like a page of text to them. And I'm like, how are you doing
I know everything about you now.
Right. And you're like, wow, are you like a fucking witch? Like, what is this witchcraft?
Witchcraft.
And I think that's how you know you found your niche. Like if another witch is like, you know, makes that joke to you like, what is this witchcraft? Like, you know, like you found your shit. Like you have found your area of expertise. Astrology is not that for me because I think it relates to sort of like geometry, because it's like all about like drawing the lines and like seeing where things are, and you start getting into drawing lines and shapes and degrees, and my brain goes, no. No thank you. I'd rather not.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, give me a book
I
any
wanted to
day of like
clarify.
stories.
Sorry, I'm dying over here.
I know,
I
I
wanted to
see you.
clarify with the chat. Christar was like, herbalism and green witchery is my jam. And I responded with the green hearts. And I know what everybody says when I do that. Yes, I like marijuana, but I also like herbalism.
Hell
Also,
yeah.
like, it's your
So you
jam.
could
I
do
see the
both.
pun there. I like that pun.
Ooh.
Oh, herbalism is my jam.
Low.
Yeah.
You can
Herbal
make jam in
magic.
Dreamlight Valley.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, this is
It's
Rue's
my
new
other
plan.
obsession.
Yeah, so if anyone wants to download Dreamlight Valley, because what, you can have 3 people in your world if you're in the PS5 world.
Yes.
Rue's really cranking it out in Dreamlight
90
Valley.
plus hours, baby. I have never been more obsessed with a video game, and it makes me very happy. It gives me all the happy chemicals in my brain. Yeah, it's I've talked about it before. It's just Animal Crossing meets Disney. It's been out for over a year. I'm late to the party, as I am with everything.
Mhm.
It's because of the weed.
Also, if we're doing
I
game
have no weed.
recommendations, I gotta throw 2 out there really quick.
Yes.
There's a game that fucking passed over a lot of people's radars. It's called Trepang 2. From how it's spelled, you want to call it Trepang, but I heard the devs say its name, and it's Trepang, which is a type of sea slug. It's not like drilling holes in your head. It's basically Fear 2.0, if you ever played the original Fear.
No, I don't think
I don't know if any of y'all did. And then the other game I got to shout out is Helldivers 2, right?
What was the name of that
the
game?
connection.
What was the name of the first game again?
Trepang 2.
Trepang 2.
Trepang. And it's not actually 2, it's squared, so it's Trepang squared with the little 2 in the top right hand corner.
Is it a Japanese game? It sounds like a Japanese game.
No.
Oh no, it's not.
No. It's a game made by 4 people, and it blows the ever living fucking shit out of every AAA shooter I've played in like the past 2 decades out of the water. So good. It's so good. Like I can send y'all a video of one of my favorite YouTube gamers, Oyf, Oyff. He has a couple videos of Trepang 2, and it's so good. I can link it in the show notes in just a minute. And then the other one is Helldivers 2, which you might have heard people talking about because it's blowing the fuck up. And I was excited because I played Helldivers 1 and was really into it, because if you know anything about me, I have ADHD and autism and a bunch of shit. And the only way that I can get
No, I'm kidding.
the only way I can get dopamine from this dried up, shriveled sponge of a brain of mine is to
God.
wring it out with as much intense, overstimulating shit as possible. So like when I'm one person fighting about 400 to 600 enemies by myself, that'll do it, baby. Yeah, grind my fucking face off. Trepang gets so hard, it has like a difficulty mode called Rage Mode, where like the enemies literally have like where they can see you behind them and 180 headshot you in half a second. Okay.
Oh shit. There is a game.
The only way that you can beat them is because you can slow down time a little bit with bullet focus, and you can also go invisible. So you have to be really fucking brutal and really fucking smart. So you enter this like really frantic gameplay loop that just like hones you into becoming better. And then like Helldivers 2 is just like trying to constantly kill you. Like I've soloed all the way up to suicide mission, which I'm really proud of. I'm trying to beat Suicide Mission on solo right now, just to say I can do it for bragging rights. But like, you gotta ring me out with like the most intense fucking like Battlefront action for me to even feel anything from a video game these days. So like when it's like basically hooking up a car battery to my nipples and stalking me, then I'll get some fucking serotonin or some dopamine. You know what I mean? But like,
so like, we'll
anything
get a
short of
VR
that, like licking the
headset
9 volt
and a car battery.
Go ahead.
And some nipple clamp.
That game would be fucking nuts in VR. God damn.
There's a game
Couldn't even
actually
imagine.
that you might like, Sophia, if you're into that. I'm surprised that I like this game. It's Roller Drome. It's one of the free
I have
games.
Roller Drome. It was
Have
free.
you
Yeah, it was
fucked
free on
around with it?
PlayStation Plus. A little bit, but I had just come off of beating Trepang 2 on Rage mode, and it was not nearly as run my face across asphalt difficult as I needed. You know what I mean? So I put it down. I will come back to it. It's just Helldivers 2 is such a good fucking game, and like I was a really big fan of number 1, so I can't not be into number 2. And then like the gameplay loop is really good. Like I don't know if y'all have seen videos from it, but it looks like space Vietnam is what people call it. Okay.
Oh, that's interesting.
Because of how many enemies are on screen and how they shoot and how your friendlies can kill you and how just everything. It's like, just check it out after we're done podcasting. Like you can find it just by Googling Space Vietnam.
Space Vietnam. Roller Drome, for anyone who is curious, it's a fun little game I've got obsessed with. It's basically like Tony Hawk, but you're on roller skates. And you have guns, and you can do like matrix maneuvers and like slow time, and yeah, it's really fucking cool. It's a cool game.
Cool.
And you have to.
I don't know if there's a multiplayer.
To get bullet, or
I'm
you have
playing
to
through
do
the
tricks
campaign.
to get your bullets back.
Yeah, that's how you
it
reload.
works,
You do tricks. Yeah, and it's essentially if you were a Tony Hawk kid, it's the Tony Hawk controls basically. So it's a good time.
Yeah. So you got to play Tony Hawk, but you got to spin around in the air and shoot snipers in the face.
Yeah, it's a good time.
And if I was gonna say, and if you're into high fantasy, there's also a game called Enshrouded that looks really cool. I've been watching gameplay. So the whole plot of the game is like there's this sort of supernatural fungus that's taking over the world, and you have to go into different areas and take care of the seed these large seed pod things that are like helping the shroud to grow. And you could be a mage, you could be a healer, you could be a fighter, an archer. And like you can build your own housing. You can grow your own materials. You can do all sorts of stuff. You get like an alchemist. You can like put them like enshrouded.
Looks like it's only on Steam.
I guess so. I just thought, it's real. I've been watching gameplay of it. It looks really cool.
Oh no, it's also on Xbox as well. It's a Xbox /
PC.
Why can't I find it on PS5?
It might just be for Xbox PC, because a lot of times if something's for Xbox, it'll just be for PC.
But it says on the Wikipedia it's on PlayStation 5, and the first thing I did was Google it, or look it up on the PlayStation Store.
The name of Scott's game that they recommended was spell EINN, like in
Enshrouded.
Oh,
Enshrouded.
Literally how the word is spelled normally.
It wasn't some clever game title. But we are a little bit over an hour. I do see you, Brian Tetra Brighton.
Hi.
Yo.
Coming in. We are unfortunately wrapping up for today, but it's been really nice. We've had like 6 people is the max that we've 6 viewers that we've had is the max that we've had today, so I'm pretty excited about that. I think switching to YouTube probably a really good idea. But yeah, we're gonna wrap up here for today. So any concluding thoughts from everyone here?
I have one. Just because you're scared of spooky shit doesn't mean it's trying to hurt you.
Good one.
Sometimes the fear is to teach you something.
I like that.
I got one. Free Palestine. Bada bing, bada boom.
Oh, that, and very much that. And
yes.
Yeah.
And Tink, if you're still here, I think you had to take a phone call, but we have to get Tink has a friend that has a podcast we need to plug. So we need to do that for Tink, but I need to get those details. Yes, you too, Brian. You have a fabulous week as well. I have off tomorrow. It's President's Day and the banks are closed, so I'm happy that I don't have to work tomorrow. But I'll end up working because it's now blow the dust off of the Pagan Pride stuff season. So I think that's probably what I'm gonna be doing tomorrow, in addition to packing up my house to.
It's like a lot.
It's
And
like a
meanwhile,
lot.
I don't get off tomorrow.
Yeah,
and
you
I
don't.
need everyone to pray for me. And I don't say that. I say it in a joking manner, but I don't say it in a joking manner. My final thoughts. I've only been at my job for 3 months and I'm being left alone to run the place for a week. So everyone
Dun,
pray
dun,
for
dun.
Rue.
Oh,
Pray. Thoughts and prayers.
Thoughts and prayers, please.
But like
Because
for real
it's
though.
going to be a ball of mess this week.
Yes. I will be
Um,
playing emotional support.
Another
husband.
one. If you see the devil, don't go talk to him. Just like let him be. Like I'm telling you, man, don't go up to him and ask if he needs
Another good
help. Don't go bother
can't
the
promise
person
that.
on your street corner. Don't annoy your local cryptid to the point where they eat your face off. Just like be safe. Be courteous, you know, even if it wasn't a spirit and it was a human having a problem. I caused absolutely zero problems by leaving him alone and not calling the cops on him, right? Just saying.
I don't know. I feel like
Yeah.
if I met
if you meet the devil, don't call the cops on him.
No, I wouldn't do that, but I would have a really hard time ignoring him. I think I'd have to at least be like, so.
Well,
Hey.
we talked about the supernatural fear aspect behind it
Yeah.
before. So I don't know. You react a little different when you feel like something's about to roll up and fucking brutally murder you and you're home alone.
That's the thing about me
Absolutely.
is when
True
I'm
dat.
afraid of something, sometimes it just makes me more curious about it. So I don't know, but
You're weird.
I'll let you know if I meet the devil. I'll let you know. On that note, we are
Look,
gonna wrap
if you want
up.
to know how to conjure the devil, I can totally help you.
Okay.
Um,
Do you want to come
Sounds
over
fine.
on a similar note,
and summon Satan?
there's
Yeah.
another place where I actually swear I could meet the devil. It was an underpass here in Toronto that has a river that goes underneath it, and in the bedrock of the river, like the cobblestones, there's a bus bench with like another bus bench sitting directly across of it on the underside of this bridge. And the big vibes of that is like, oh shit, you come here at nighttime and the devil will pull up opposite of you and you could have a conversation and make a deal. So if you want to know where the devil hangs out, you let me know.
But yeah, so if anyone else summons the devil or sees the devil, let us know. Talk to us in the Discord. We want to hear about it.
Let us know in the comments below. Like, comment, subscribe. Sorry.
my
I couldn't
God,
Call the
help
shut
devil
the
a little bitch.
Shut the
No, I'm kidding.
fuck.
Don't.
Do
We're on
not call
YouTube now.
Well, you know what? Knowing the devil, he'd be like, yeah, whatever.
I
You a
don't
little
think
bitch.
antagonizing the devil would be a good idea.
But also hilarious. Anyway, I like chaos.
I like waffle fries.
Literally saying that indeed.
Speaking of the devil, okay.
Great.
One last thing. Since we're all devilly and talking about this, if you haven't watched Has Been Hotel on Amazon Prime,
Yes,
do it.
I was gonna say the same thing. Tell Darian I'm caught up and we can talk for hours if he wants to get on Discord.
Yeah, we're
Are you trying to make me a has-been, huh?
Yes.
You're trying to put me in a hotel?
Yes, because it's where our people are.
It is.
Oh, Chris,
so
Look,
good.
I don't have Amazon Prime, but I've seen enough YouTube clips to tell you the basic plot points of the entire show. Pew, pew, pew.
Yeah, but it's a wild ride, especially for like musicals and devilly things. But anyway, that's my final thing. We're gonna wrap up
And
here,
dick
and we will
jokes.
see. We'll see
Bye.
everyone next week.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.